Today's episode is sponsored to you by A&H Provisions. Meat and hot dogs that are so good, even Goyim understand how amazing they are. It's the next level of kosher food, and the website is kosherdogs.net. Get yours, enjoy them, A&H Provisions. Welcome to Andy's Modi. How much fun is it just pressing the record button yourself?
It's kind of exciting, I'm not going to lie.
I'm not going to lie. It's a lot of fun. This is our third episode from the Airbnb in Fort Lauderdale.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Quick shout out to A&H Provisions. Best kosher meats ever. Especially deli meats and hot dogs, and all of their other products are amazing. They're available on
www.kosherdogs.net.
Yes, 30% discount with the promo code Bobby.
Promo code Modi for 30% off
Modi.
your first order at key to your first order. You can't
keep using it. Okay, people are just gonna get different emails.
Okay,
promo code Modi for
out there.
30%. Thank you, A&H, and let's get going. We're in Florida, and this is some stuff that's happening in our. We came down here. I bought a new car.
Mazel tov.
And by new, it's not new. It's new to me. It's my cousin's. My cousin had this insane Mercedes, blown out like sport model, blackout everything, and
You rode in it last night. It's pretty.
It's sick.
It's sick, right?
I mean, the car is just next level. I got in it and I was like, what is going on here? Did you guys like rent the same car that you have in New York? And then you said, no, I actually got here and I bought this.
Yeah.
We did. We literally landed and picked up the car. No,
I mean, we bought it before now. I was here a month before we got here, and I never bought I never took over a lease.
Okay.
I don't know any of that stuff, but I don't know if you remember the last time we were in Florida, we were given a gift from Joel from
Select Auto
Lease. He gave us his car for the month and a half we were here. Just here's the keys, enjoy.
Brand new Mercedes also.
So when I told my cousin I want to buy her car off of her, her husband Juan says, don't you have a guy? Mm-hmm. And we called Joel, and Joel knew how to buy a lease. It's not that simple.
Okay, because this is very important because I need to learn how to do this.
You have to have a guy.
I do have a guy.
You have to have a guy. No, I mean, I can tell you his name. You can call Joel, but he had a dealer in New Jersey who bought it off the dealer here, and I had to send him the money, and I wasn't like, must send this guy money. It's not even. Anyway, it was a whole production to buy a lease.
Do you have to pay the whole thing outright, or can you?
So when you buy a lease, when you take a lease, you pay, let's say, $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
For the car. By the end of the lease, you have the option to buy the car back, and now with the rate of having had paid all of these payments off.
Oh.
So my cousin for 3 years has been paying the lease, and now the car is worth X amount of money, which is still so much cheaper than if the dealership bought it back and then resold it.
Right.
Because cars now, the leases now are, because of the interest rates are in the sky.
Right.
Anyway, it was just such a blessing, such Mashiach energy because when I saw that she had this car, I'm like, this is so not her, but it's so me. And I said, this is what? And then her lease was ending right when we got to Florida. And I had a gig here 2 weeks before. So I set everything up that we landed and took an Uber straight to her house. The car was so filthy.
Oh no.
I can't even explain to you. There was a tear that, you ever see the commercial with the Indian that sees how dirty America is and a tear goes down his eye? You've seen that commercial? You ever saw the commercial?
I've never seen it,
It
but
is-
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's an iconic commercial from the 80s and 90s. It's this Indian that's walking around America and you see trash everywhere.
Native American.
Oh my God, Native America. I'm sorry. I hope I didn't offend anybody. And when they see how filthy America is, there's a tear that runs down their eye. And when I saw this car, this gorgeous Mercedes, and then I just so filthy.
She's a rescue.
We call her a rescue.
She's a rescue.
Yeah, she doesn't look like a rescue.
It's so not my cousin, this car. And my cousin has 2 daughters that are like little terrorists. And you can tell they were just like lipstick everywhere and this everywhere and Cheerio. Not Cheerios because they're like older, but like just, there was like
Doritos, maybe.
everything all over the car. Anyway, we brought it to, we found this gorgeous place in Palm Beach called
Eco Mint. Or
Eco
Mint Eco.
Mint.
I mean, unless they're sponsoring
I know,
us, we
but
don't need to like.
I
pitch
want
these
for the
companies.
for the enjoyment that they gave me. I'm gonna give them a shout out.
the nachas.
Have you heard of Eco Mint? It is insane. It's a spa for your car.
Okay.
I paid, and they, it's one of those places where you can pull in, and it's just $12 to go through, $12.99 to go through. But like, as soon as you add one thing, it becomes $39.99. I'm their target audience. I dropped $140 like that, and my biggest pet problem with the car was that by the handles, my cousin, I guess, has these long nails, and it was scratched up as if someone was clawing their way out of a jail or something. And
I think she must have been opening it with like keys in her hand or something like that. Like she had one of those crazy keychains and she was like opening the door with it in her fingers. That's what I think it's from.
I don't think so, because that car, you don't need the keys to open the car.
But you know, Gila, she'd be having like those Schließler. How do you say it?
Schließlich.
The
Not him
Schließlich.
throwing Yiddish out in the middle.
The keys that the Hatzala guys walk
Yeah,
around with,
yeah,
like
the
that big
Schließlich.
ring of keys. I feel like she has one of those.
Whatever
What
she
is
was
a
doing.
Schließlich?
Keys in Yiddish. Schließel. Anyway, so it was so scratched up, but this guy came and he had this machine and he buffed it out and it looks brand new. It's so amazing. Why would anybody buy a new car is my question.
Well, that's a good question. The car is insane. It's like a nightclub inside also. Like the whole
it's
thing
got
lights
the
up.
lights. You can make it full Ars, full like Guido with the purple lights, but I like to match the interior light, like deco light, to match the
display
display
screen.
case.
I
And we're
don't
just
even know
learning
what that
things
means.
nonstop about the car.
What I know is that you're constantly talking to her. You're going, Mercedes, do this, and she never listens to you.
No, she does. She's
gotten
been good.
it right
she's
a few times,
she's
but
gotten
she's
it.
a little hard of hearing.
She's special. She's special.
It's a special
Um,
needs Mercedes.
So now we have an SUV in Manhattan and an SUV in Florida. We need to figure out what we're doing.
If anybody wants to
Whoa,
buy,
whoa. I'm pitching. I called my husband this morning and
Yeah,
I
you might
pitched
be.
it. Yeah,
You might be rescuing
It
our
would-
car from
I'm
us.
no,
First
yours
in
is not a
line.
rescue. This is a rescue. This is a.
You're
this
getting
car,
a purebred.
You're getting a purebred golden doodle Mercedes. My car in New York is so
clutch.
never been parked in the street.
Your car in New York
Yeah.
is my dream car.
Take it.
beautiful.
I'm trying to. I called my husband this morning and I made him FaceTime me to show
Nope.
him. I said, you guys just got this, and in New York you have this. And he goes, is there anything else?
That's all. He's not. He's not into it.
No, I mean,
No.
like he needs a while to
okay.
to
She's
digest.
she's never slept in the street. She's always been in a garage. She's
You
washed.
don't need-
Every time we take her
Oh.
out, Modi has the guy wash it.
I
Yeah.
know.
It's
It's
like-
stunning.
Stunning.
Because our lease is coming up.
So you should definitely take this car.
Maybe we'll pay for the karma.
But
You didn't see that.
we
There's
got
the-
good karma, and you deserve some good karma.
There's the title to this
is-
episode.
I knew that was gonna come up anyway. So there's that. There's that. That was so. But the takeaway of that story is you need to have a guy, or a girl, or a lady, or a they,
Yeah.
but somebody who's connected in whatever the industry is. Because without them, it would have been insane.
So who's this guy? Is
Joel from Again, give him a pitch.
I think it's select auto lease.
But what does he get out of it? Like if I call him and I'm like, can you?
There's obviously some fees or whatever
Right,
involved in
okay.
transferring everything and this and
Okay,
that and
that's
the
cool.
deed and the.
There's the title and there's the
I don't know how cars work.
registration. I came here and it was already registered already, and I got my plates from New York, and it was so good and easy. But if I didn't have somebody, it would have been like I would have paid double the tax, because when you buy and sell, whatever, it's a long
now
story.
how involved is Leo
In this department, none.
because you're
Zero.
usually-
Zero.
So
Zero.
that's very interesting.
Hard zero. This is where Modi kicks in and I step back.
This is where
Absolutely.
Modi really shines.
Yeah.
Is it because it's a
Yeah.
car? Because you deal with a lot of logistics in general.
I do step in with tickets and travel and that kind of stuff.
You handle travel?
No, we handle it together. We have a travel agent, Ilanit, who's amazing. It's an Israeli woman who can do things with points and all kinds of trickery and
She's
get
good.
you.
She's good to know.
So she's
But you usually book travel, I thought. No, you usually book
together. We want to.
We
it's always
do
good
it
to have
together
two sets of eyes.
Because when we sit down, I'll email Elanit and be like, "This is where we need to go and when," and she'll send us options. It's this way. It's this much if you want to connect through here, or if you want to go direct. It's this much. These are the times, and then together we'll sit down and look at everything.
Okay, because
But I won't book things without showing him and going over with him.
Okay,
Me
because
neither, because
when
I'm
I-
dyslexic. So when I'm looking at a flight and I see 1 a.m., but the day after is
right,
that's the
God, you'll wind up in like
Right.
Australia.
Machu Picchu, and you're supposed to be going to like Massachusetts.
right.
That's funny.
Thank you, professional. Because when we were driving
Yeah.
to Connecticut, and I walked up to the two of you, and I'd never really been on the road with you guys before, and I looked at both of you, and I said, "Who's driving?" And you both laughed at me like that was like the most
Well,
ridiculous
that's a little
question.
different.
Leo.
What did you say?
Leo
that-
drives.
You
He
said
has a
something
driver's
hilarious,
license.
though, when I
What?
said who's driving,
You said hilarious.
Right, because it's me.
But
I'm
you're okay. This is what happened. In Manhattan, I can't drive. I'm too afraid to drive. It's panic-inducing. I will murder someone. I will kill a pedestrian or a cyclist. Like something bad will happen if I'm driving in Manhattan. However, I do have the ability to drive, and I have a driver's license. It's just you're also very particular as a passenger side driver or backseat driver.
I'm not a
whatever.
backseat driver when you're driving. Don't paint that
There's
picture.
a
in
little
anybody's
bit of
head.
like. There,
Don't paint that.
there's
I
a
let
little
you
bit
go
of
through.
like
I
hand
let you go
signals
through you.
and like little
no.
little like little like
When we landed here and got this car and had to drive to Fort Lauderdale, I gave Leo the keys.
I drove.
I said, "Here you go." You said you wanted to drive. Because one of his pet peeves about living in New York is, "I don't drive here. I don't drive here." I said, "Here you go. You're in Fort Lauderdale, 95. Every lane is. This is." In Florida, every lane, every parking spot, it shows you. The lines are there. In New York, you have to make it up.
Yeah,
you get on a highway and they didn't put the lines down yet. You make your own lane. This
So
is
confusing.
Florida. Here you go. Here you go, drive.
And I did it.
And he nailed
And
it.
he fell asleep at one
And
point.
then
So it
I
was
think
obviously a great.
It was a great ride.
How
I
long was the
not-
ride?
An
Fort
hour,
Lauderdale
whatever.
to
It was like
Miami?
the height of traffic.
Yeah.
We landed at like.
I drive in the city though.
I don't know how. I don't know how you. Every time we
I
drive
grew
in the
up-
city, which is
yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we have a moment where you're driving and there'll be a moment where you turn a corner or someone steps out into the street and I go, oh, right there. If I was behind the wheel, that person would be dead. Like every time we're in the car.
Right. First of all,
And you've had some close calls with you driving too. Not that are your fault, just from the chaos
Right.
of the city.
right.
Maybe because I grew up driving in New York, it doesn't faze me.
It's insane. It's really, truly. I can't.
The bicycles, the skateboarders, all this stuff. You just have to be completely. When you're driving, you have to drive. You can't be doing anything else.
Well, you should be doing that regardless. Of,
No, people are
Of
busy
what-
with changing, looking for stations, texting,
Here-
not texting.
On I-95, people just like fully on their phone. Two
That's
hands.
terrible.
Two hands. No
That's
hands on the
terrible.
wheel. I know.
You
it's-
see them literally like with two hands driving and like barely looking up, and it's so dangerous. So you just have to go a little slower than usual. 65 is a very, very, very good speed, and it allows you to make decisions. and leave a gap between the car in front of you and whatever. I'm blessed and protected, and I've been very lucky, and I just focus when I drive. My father was a driving instructor, and so when I got my license, when I got my permit, the whole year I drove with my mother. My father, when I drove with him, he would teach me. Here's what not to do. Here's what to do. Don't look at this. Don't stare at that. You know, it drove how to knit with the hands. Don't make sure the wheels are turned this way. Do make sure they're that way.
Who taught you how to drive?
Mr. Kazanowski.
Oh, you and your parents did, but like when you got your permit and stuff, your
I
parents
think I
went out
took
with
driving.
I always feel like there's
lessons.
one parent who
Driver's ed. My
does
father for sure.
Yeah.
Then I feel like I hooked up with his son too. Maybe
The driver's ed
driver's
teacher?
ed teacher.
Oh my god.
No, you're her father's son.
Wait, what is he particular about?
Me?
No, you just you like you said, like, you know, what speed you should be going, how much space in between each person, like basic defensive driving.
And I'm always in the mirrors. My eyes are always in the mirrors.
Right, you're like that
Always.
on stage too, though.
Right.
You've got
In
a
the mirrors,
360. Look at him. He's taking a deep breath. What?
But I would say, so Leo
Nothing
can't
is-
drive, but Leo, I will say one thing, in the passenger seat, can do in a 25-minute drive to the gym more than some people can do at an 8-hour work week. He is
Yeah,
answering
I'm not-
emails and returning texts and going back and forth and looking this up and sending them contracts. I've seen him close dates and like start sending the contract right from the boom, done, sent, deposit sent in by the time we arrived.
Yeah,
So-
I'm always. It's a slow burn with me. Like
Nobody suggested that you weren't working.
if
honey.
I'm in the passenger seat, I'm not luxuriating. I'm booked. We're getting booked and busy.
Yeah, so that's the
You were in the call you were in the
You
car
saw.
on the way to
Oh.
Connecticut. It was a working drive.
I bore witness that trip.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I love to drive. I don't know what to tell you. I
Yeah, you
love
do
to
also like to drive, whereas I don't like to drive. Like I don't get the enjoyment out of driving that you do, so that's why you always end up driving because it's just
But it's also like a male, like Israeli thing, I think.
yeah, maybe probably.
I don't know. Maybe.
little
Especially when it's a
bit.
good car and you feel the road and you feel the engine and
Okay,
it's
feel
so
the
it's
road
so
is
good.
not something that I would ever.
And I drive after shows. Like my sister came down. My sister lives in Sarasota and came down to the show in Fort Lauderdale with her friends, and they took a hotel room and they did a whole night of it, and it was cute. But my rule is 4 hours. If my bed is 4 hours away, I'm driving to it.
I remember last year Modi had a gig in Boston, and we drove to Boston, which took 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
And then he did the gig, and we had a hotel room, and we just didn't use it. You just got back in the car and drove back to New York.
Yep.
And then after having done the gig, you drove there, did the gig, and drove back to New York. It was 8 hours of driving.
I
It was
remember
insane.
You also hopped in the car after we moved to Mohegan Sun Casino.
Oh yeah, we were on the road before that curtain
that last
closed.
gig.
You couldn't get out of
I
there
could
fast
not get out
enough.
of Mohegan Sun fast enough that if I never hear that waterfalls again, that disgusting waterfalls, and smell that aura of failure at the casino.
I was smelling other things, but
That
cigarette smoke.
casinos are just, I don't know. So that's what's
So that's
with
the
that. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about is that Leo and I have iPhones with Verizon, and we pay from one credit card. We wanted to combine
They're
the
two
account.
separate accounts.
Yeah.
I have my phone bill, and he has his phone bill.
Okay.
And the genesis of this was because I was on my family's phone plan when we met,
Right.
and you know, you're then subject to the terms and conditions of your family in general when you're on their plan. So I succeeded from the union and removed myself from the family plan and put myself on Verizon, which was a big step for me to
secede?
to leave that union, which is why we have two separate plans, because when that happened, it was pretty early on in our relationship. So it's not like you just added me onto your Verizon account. I had my own bill.
Right.
And now cut to 8 years later, we're paying out the ears for our...
For the program. Well, the long story short of it is this. So we decided we need to combine our plan. We walked into a Verizon store that was empty. There were no customers in it. There were 5 people with the Verizon shirts sitting there. And we walked in and said to them, hi, we each have a Verizon plan. We'd like to combine into a family plan and pay. We pay from one account anyway. And they looked at us. I
literally
might
laughed.
as well have asked, can I have your firstborn?
He literally
They
like
laughed.
gave like a
Why?
little like scoff. He was like, this guy. Like,
Why?
He was like, you need to go home and do it online. Make sure you have an hour to spare. Make sure you're both there and have all of your account information.
your social security numbers.
You know what else you can do? Call Verizon and be like, hi, I'm canceling my account.
I
and
truly want to.
She'd be like, click, goodbye.
No, they would be like, what can
No,
we do
they're
to
all
keep
the
your
worst.
business?
They're all the plan. To get anyone on the phone these days is insane. Like there's no customer service anymore. It's like it's
Yeah.
really insane, and it's crazy. The way they literally were like, nope, we can't do that for you. I'm like, what exactly is the purpose of all of you people in the store
Not
right now?
that.
It was. I
It
don't
should
know.
be. It
Well,
should be a part of their arsenal. They
they-
should have the ability
They
to
should've-
do that.
They had.
They
However-
can't do
back there.
anything.
In a turn on the opposite side, refreshingly,
Yeah.
we had a great customer service experience at the Apple store.
Backstory: Leo's been running the world.
From an ancient MacBook Air. Like they found this with the Dead Sea Scrolls. I'm pretty sure
Isn't
this
this
MacBook
from?
Air.
Wasn't it from a?
Yeah,
place?
it's from a previous employer, which shall remain unnamed. That's how old this laptop is. And I've been running the whole world from it. And she finally tapped out during this trip down here. And she still works. I just can't do like, I can't open any of your videos or download any big files.
which is not working.
So
The computer, his old laptop has Play Studios, which is a company that he was an owner and ran, and then it also had Yearly 2020. All of that happened on this computer,
Okay.
and
karmically, there's a lot going on. In
the
that
karmically is a
computer.
lot, but it needs to be put away and move on. We've moved on from all of those things. Bigger, better things are going, and this whole for like a few weeks now. He's been like, I have to build a computer. I need this amount of mega gig and gigabyte and gig and big.
I actually don't know all the.
Yeah,
Yes, you do,
terminology.
Scott.
but you
You
do.
do.
Anyway, we went to work at the Aventura Mall, the Equinox at the Aventura Mall, and there's an Apple store. I said, let's just go talk to the guy.
Because everything I was ordering online said it would get here in like 2 weeks. Like they had to build it and send it to me.
Right.
Right.
I was like, I
I-
need something now.
We're heading to the Apple store. I'm saying the Ana B'Koach prayer. I'm just like, please let this be a good experience. Let this be good. Let it be
And it's
good energy.
packed.
And we
Packed.
get to the store, and I see the Lacoste store, which we had 2 great purchases a week before in a different mall. I said, let me go in there. You go ahead and get online and sign up for whatever they got to do over there. They didn't have the shirt I wanted. I walked downstairs. Leo is talking to this woman, and he goes, and this is my husband, the comedian. She goes, hi, oh my God, you're a comedian. You get to travel with him.
Yeah.
I am so jealous of you guys. She did whatever ding, ding, ding she had to do. The nicest gentleman came over. We told him exactly what Leo does
She
with
said
the computer.
unprompted. She goes, you have the shortest wait time in the history of this store. To me, I was like, okay, I was meant to get a laptop today.
The guy came over and he listened to what Leo's needs were. And then Leo was either a 14-inch or a 16-inch. And I said, as somebody who's over your shoulder, every time we need to look at something, I prefer the 16-inch. We walked out of there with a new computer, and Leo opened it up, and we said, Shechianu, the prayer when something's new.
Did we say that for the car? It's not. She's not new
I
technically.
Shechianu that for the entire drive up. Are you insane? And when they brought it back from the when the guy
detailer?
buffed out the claw marks on it, I Shechianu that too, because that was on my head. When he buffed out those wheels, I was so Shechianu in that car. But the computer, it was just like you have to have good energy with things. No.
Yes, 1,000%. I could not agree more.
I just have also agita about making big purchases like that. I don't know why. I just I convince myself that I don't actually need it. Like I can do, I can prolong the
Where
time.
do you think that comes from, Leo?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm thinking he can do my videos in 6 seconds now. That's all I want. And it's worth. I was ready to drop $6,000 there. I had when he came at us with 2,100. What was
I
it?
don't know how much it was.
2,400. Like yes.
So you got a
buy
car.
two. Nemtsvai.
Yeah,
Buy two.
Modi got a car and I got a laptop.
That car is both of ours.
Yes,
and,
but you drive it.
And that laptop
and I
is
use
yours.
The laptop is both of ours too, but I
You
use it.
You can use it.
Yeah, thank you.
That was
What's yours is mine.
yeah,
What's
what's yours is mine.
yours.
Mine's is yours. Yours is everything.
That's what I always tell Guy.
Yeah.
What's yours? is mine.
What else has happened? We have been watching this show called
Ancient Apocalypse.
Oh God.
On
which is
Netflix.
stuff. So Leo, just so you people know, is if you mention any animal in the world, I know, cheat to the camera.
Sorry.
I know it's really hard to do it though. Like all 3 of these episodes are getting
It's okay.
our.
Well, we did have one episode when you had the entire mic thing in
know.
your face.
That was not.
But-
That was
good.
my bad.
Okay, but we're watching Ancient Apocalypse, and we haven't finished it yet, and I don't know where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I don't know either.
What's
but-
this show about?
So the show is about this archaeologist whom Netflix
Controversial.
off the bat tells you this guy is kind of a cuckoo, like within the world of archaeology and anthropology. Like not
But they
everyone.
right away vet him by showing that he was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and Joe said this guy is the best.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Netflix tells you off the bat, this guy is like a little fringe. But then they give him a whole show.
okay.
So it's like kind of interesting
And what's
how
it
they
called?
frame it.
Apocalypse.
It's called Ancient Apocalypse. And his whole, I guess, working theory is that, based on evidence that we have, we can tell, like, basically civilization. Most archaeologists agree that civilization started, like, 2,000 years ago or whatever it is. And he's going through all these different archaeological sites that say, like, actually, no, like, 12,000 years ago, we were building giant structures and, like, monolithic things that only a very advanced...
Before the Ice Age.
Yeah,
he
before
said.
the Ice Age.
Yeah.
Because everything happened after the Ice Age, us building all these big things. So what was your theory with this? Where were you going?
So he's going.
I love conspiracy theories. That's why I made Modi watch it.
It's conspiracy theory-ish, but he's going through all these sites in the world that I have no plans to ever go to. Give me like the Cacachaca in Chile.
One's in Malta. I would go there. I would go
Malta,
to
this
Malta.
place in Malta, which I would go to in a yacht. With Malta, obviously in Mexico, in these remote islands, off of Bahamas, places where they find like ancient, like, and it's all temples that were built for types of gods.
Okay.
And now Lahavdil, which it should be differentiated. They're very much like the temple that the Jews had.
Okay.
With the Western Wall, and they had sacrifices and all of that. And he's mentioning all of these cultures and all of these names of these civilizations that are no longer around. But the Jews are. So the temple's there. All these temples are there, and we have our temples destroyed, but we still pray at it. And there's all those sites.
This is saying that these temples are even older
right.
from what the
Will
generally
you
agreed
guys
upon.
get to the point of so
That
it's
was
saying
my
that
thing. I'm
Jews-
just saying that yes, and I think there is a oneness in the world that people had, and they knew they're praying to a higher energy.
Okay.
Right? A higher energy, whatever you want to call it. They called it this, Aman, Shmaman, and this one is called this one, and we call it Hashem. They call it God, Lord, whatever you want. They're praying to it, but they didn't stick around. They're no longer around. And I'm just saying that the philosophy of the Jews is to always keep helping each other. And that's why I think they're around. It's a reach.
It's a little bit of a reach.
It's a little
Sounds
bit of
like
a
a
reach.
little
I
bit
don't
of a
pretend.
stretch.
Again, we are not experts in anything. We are here.
I almost minored in anthropology. I had enough credits to almost minor in
I didn't.
anthropology.
I didn't.
Yeah.
And again, this podcast is not. We are not scientists, journalists, or experts in anything that much. It's something for you to
I
do
still
while
don't
you're walking
understand
your
exactly
dog.
what you were going with the show.
I'm just saying, it's like all these temples. And what was amazing was like there's a temple. It's a mountain.
Okay.
And there's like a temple inside the mountain. Then they found inside underneath that more temples, but the same thing. Underneath that, more temples.
Wow. Okay.
It was super cool. And they were all kind of the same, and they all face the sun, and they all face the moon. And
Yeah,
they
there's a
all
lot of
do
similarities,
a lot of
even though they're all
similarities.
scattered across the globe. I think aliens, obviously. Just
I mean, that was my next question.
I'm not there.
Okay.
Yeah, because this guy's like, no, there's no way that we were all like Stone Age hunter-gatherers, but like they're building these giant, intricate
Okay,
stone
let's lean into this
structures.
a little bit.
I'm leaning in. I'm ready to go. You ready?
Let's go. Buckle
Okay.
up.
Buckle in.
What other conspiracy, quote unquote, theories?
Now that's where you're gonna go.
No.
Yeah.
And the aliens.
I believe in
aliens.
aliens. I will say on the record, I
Did you
believe
want to
in
lean
aliens.
into aliens?
I wanted to lean in, yes, into aliens.
Okay.
But again, so all these temples and shrines and everything was built with these massive rocks that weigh hundreds of tons, and they always say this. And what's even crazier, it's not from this region. It's from 100 miles away.
Yeah, it's always
they
from
were
100
brought
miles.
in from 100 miles away. When you go, again, Lahavdil, it should be differentiated, but the temple in Israel, the Western Wall, when you take the tour underneath, they tell you these rocks are built and how they were built, and they make these movies about how the Jews rolled it on logs and brought them up, and the pulley system, and come on.
Yeah, it's a little far-fetched. Like, how did they do all of that?
But now I'm gonna go aliens, but I'm not gonna say aliens in the form of an alien that we think, but it's also this. Okay. Let
If
me
you say
go.
Mashiach energy, I'm going to walk off
It's
this
more
podcast.
than Mashiach energy. When Moses came to the Dead Sea and had to part it. Okay. Wow. What a miraculous thing that would be to part the Red Sea. So Moses turns to God and said, okay, could you part the sea for us? And what does God say to him? God says to him, I have given you all the powers to do that yourself. And Moses parts the sea. It's a big thing in the Torah. It's a huge thing in Kabbalah. Wait. And then I think back then, maybe they were just tapped into energy that they can move things and they can do things. As today, we're so move this, hire someone. I'm not saying we can pick up a car and bring it over. Okay, I went off a little too much. But I'm just saying, I think past civilization.
Back to conspiracy theories.
Moses was going on TaskRabbit.
No,
Hilarious.
Moses tapped into that energy that God gave him. It's an incredible.
Did Moses actually are these things, we're taking them at face value?
Well, what's interesting in the show Ancient Apocalypse is that one of the things that he reiterates is that he goes to different places, like there's South America and Asia in what used to be Mesopotamia, places all very scattered all over the world, have very, very similar folklore and legends of. They all have a great flood. All of them, all over the world, have a great flood.
Noah.
Noah's Ark.
They all have some version of that. And then they all also have this figure who emerges after the flood, who taught them all how to build things, how to do agriculture, and how to basically form laws in society. And when they use, even the language they use about this mysterious figure that appears after the flood has very similar similar words that they use to describe it, even though all of these civilizations are scattered all over the world.
Right.
So that's what's interesting, is that there maybe was this oneness that you're talking about.
There is. There is a oneness in the world. We're just not connected to it. And when we are, what?
We experienced it during 9/11. The tragedy brought everybody into kind of a connection to where it was easy to be sympathetic to each other as it is today.
For 2 minutes.
Right. But
For 2 minutes. Our engineer has chimed in. He says that during 9/11, people were very nice to each other. Yeah, but it didn't last long. And this pandemic that happened also could have brought people together. but I think it did not. I think it. But
We're
come with
getting
me.
off topic though for a second.
Off topic.
I thought these stories, like Moses parting the Red Sea, is kind of symbolic, right?
You're supposed to be thinking it's like a metaphor, right?
Right.
I
like,
think that's pretty reasonable.
Like, I don't think that Adam and Eve were actually in the Garden of Eden talking to a snake, the snake.
Whatever makes you a better person, however you want to picture this out, what it is. When Moses stood in front of this insane task of parting the sea, so he asks God to part the sea, and then God says there's a it's 72 times 3. There's the verse that's used where God says to him, "You have this power," has been made into this thing called the 72 names of God. It's a big Kabbalistic teaching.
Okay.
It's a square, and it uses all of those words, each put in from that sentence in different ways, and you scan it, and you can get that energy. I do it every morning.
I'm not following anything.
No?
No.
Okay. It's too far out there?
It's like the Lion King.
Okay.
like to
Can
elaborate?
you have to elaborate on that?
Well, when Mustafa, the Lion King, was killed, and he said that he's always going to be there, and then Simba goes and runs off, and he said, "You lied to me. You're not here. He said he was guiding him in the stars, and then they said, "No, look into your reflection. Like, he's there. You have the power to the baby lion."
Because you did just see the Lion
I
King on
did
Broadway.
just see the Lion King,
so
but
it is just fresh.
People are going to
This is
think
fresh.
that the Florida sun has fried our brains out.
It has not fried our brains out.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just saying that we're watching this. It's super interesting when you watch it with an open mind. And I don't know. That was where my head went when we were watching it. And I feel like he's going to go. We haven't seen the rest of it, the end of it, but I feel he's going to bring aliens. Definitely has to be a part of it. But
Okay. I mean, listen, I think aliens are definitely real.
They have to be.
Yeah, they have to
I don't know if they've been here. Like,
They've
I
for
don't
sure
know
been here.
if the things that people purport to see here, like UFOs, I don't know if that's real and like that they came here, but there has to be.
It has to be
something
real.
out
I
there.
mean, there are too many accounts of stories like that for everybody to be making it up. No?
no, 100%. Every president, after they were president, when they were asked, "Are there aliens?" said yes.
Right.
Because they were shown
That's
things.
not true.
It's very true.
It doesn't matter.
No
if
one,
it's true or
no
not.
president, no ex-president has ever been like, yes, there are aliens.
Obama did on did on Fallon or one of those shows. They never denied it, and they yes, Leo.
Okay, all right.
We've
I'm very up.
We've
okay.
seen every alien thing, and they have always show pictures. Well, we've seen things that prove it. Yeah, so yeah. But as president, they're not gonna. Joe Biden, if right now goes, "There's aliens," they're gonna. Okay, Joe, thanks for coming in. But yeah, so aliens. Anyway, on Hulu, there's a show called.
Well, we're just jumping around here.
I am. On Hulu, there's a show called Fleishman is in Trouble.
Okay.
I have never seen anything more Jewish in my life. Fiddler on the Roof doesn't hold a candle to this show. It is the
We briefly
world-
mentioned it on one of the last episodes.
Did we?
Yeah.
It's a show about this doctor on the Upper East Side who's just a doctor. And whenever he says he's a doctor, people say, "Oh, that's so nice for you.
Good for you.
Good for you." Because everybody else there is some trillionaire finance person. But he's this doctor, and it's the whole world it's literally the Upper East Side Jewish world. And it's so place specific and so Jewish specific. And so it's so specific. And when I'm watching it, I think, when non-Jews are watching this, what are they thinking? And
Same could be said about your act.
right, but it's just it's like when you watch The Nanny and you watched her, like
Right.
she was so Jewish. But it's an amazing show, and they left you with an amazing cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, we
The
finished
wife.
season 1. We'll see what happens.
I'm not gonna. What's it called?
Yeah.
Alert you.
Spoiler.
Spoil alert you.
Alert you.
But it was. I didn't think it was gonna go where it went, and we really, really enjoyed it. No,
But it's not real. It's
no,
it's a drama.
Okay.
It's a drama. We're almost done.
What
and
else
this is
is it?
our last episode that we're doing in this Airbnb. Anything- So this is going to air.
Who
This
knows?
is the third
I don't
one.
know. Who knows?
Listen, the other thing that I wanted to, speaking of drama,
Yeah.
was Harry's new book.
I have not read it.
It doesn't
I've
matter.
heard some excerpts and I've read some passages, most notably about his frostbite situation.
Right.
That was a little weird.
So my question is, or the question that I'd like to pose to the group is, what's off limits? Because I've heard a lot of people say, and I actually haven't read the book and whatever.
Yeah.
I think he has a right to talk about whatever he wants to talk about. Where's that line?
Well, I will say, I don't know where the line is, but I will say that throughout this whole thing, I've been very pro Meghan and Harry in general, mostly just because I'm anti the monarchy. So anything that's kind of like, going against the grain there, I'm kind of secretly cheering for.
Okay.
However, I do feel like with this book, it's a little bit like there's a difference between telling your side of the story and like doing a bit. And I think at this point, it's become a bit. Like some of the things, again, I didn't read the whole book, but I read some passages. And like when he said he was like shopping at the J. Crew sale, and what? No, you're not. Like
I'm sure
that
he
he bought
is.
things from TJ Maxx.
I believe it.
So did I.
Okay, but like it's. But he's painting this picture that is like, okay, he maybe like knows what J. Crew is, but like, do you think Harry ever actually went into a J. Crew and bought
Yes.
something?
I think that
don't
this
know.
yacht is about to drive through the window of our house.
No. Don't worry about the yacht. Listen to me.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying. First of all, I think that he got cut off or decided to part ways with the monarchy. And yeah, why wouldn't he shop at like the J. Crew
Well,
outlet?
you said like you shouldn't throw your family. That
I
someone
didn't say that.
you said that someone else said, you shouldn't throw your family under the bus
Yeah,
like that.
I definitely didn't say that.
But I think his family threw him under the bus
Yeah.
really to a certain extent. So
Even if they didn't, good for him and good for Meghan.
Shkoyach.
Shkoyach. Let me tell you something. William and Charles, they're going to be kings, and they are kings, and they will always have that. Bam.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah.
King of England. Nice to meet you. Got it. This guy's Harry, and he would have been just in the back cutting.
the title of
ribbons.
his book is called Spare, right?
Right. And he is,
It's kind of
instead of
rough.
sitting there cutting ribbons, he now has more attention on him than the king and the future king of England. And she is like, bam, she's whatever. They're talking about her, not talking about her. At least now she's being profitable off of it.
Yeah,
Good
I
for
agree.
her.
Yeah,
Good for him.
It's
the family-
that's a hustle. That's
that
a
is
hustle.
hustle.
Regardless of if it's like
Yeah.
immoral or true,
I
it is
think
a
it's
hustle.
great,
And I respect the hustle.
Yeah, I respect the hustle. I totally agree. I think good for Meghan, good for him. His father said that. That's where he got the title from when he was born. He said, well, now I have an heir and a spare.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, and the father's dating that. What's it called? She looks like a retired baggage handler from Heathrow Airport. Vihaisi, what's her name?
Camilla?
Camilla.
She's the queen now,
She's
Modi.
the queen convert.
Consort.
So don't blame me. Good for Meghan, good for Harry. Make your money and it's good. It gives you something to watch. There's a clip today about
I think
him
the whole
talking about-
monarchy should be dismantled
I
and,
agree,
and
but
flushed down the drain.
Yeah,
so
I
I don't
agree.
really care, but
Yeah.
I respect a hustle.
A hustle, yes. Look at us in an Airbnb hustling 3 podcasts out with, of course, the help of A&H Provisions. Hot dog. Give me the hot dog thing.
Kosher provisions. Don't they keep wanting us to say
Yeah,
kosher?
kosher
It's
provisions.
kosher.
Glatt Kosher Provisions. Glatt Kosher. Not only that, if you want to see the factory, Seth will give you a tour and give me the website.
Kosherdogs.net.
Kosherdogs.net. 30% discount on your first order with promo code MODI, MODI. Tickets are available for shows.
Wow.
That's me saying we're done.
We know.
Tickets are available for shows on modilive.com, MODILIVE.com. Shows that will be available.
Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and coming very soon, Chicago.
Amen. Get your tickets to the Saban Theater in Los Angeles. Get your tickets to all the shows on the West Coast. And by now, I think the Montreal second show will be sold out when this airs. Thank you all for listening. Wishing you Mashiach energy and goodbye.
Bye.